It's a very slow period for Star Wars news, and aside from Andor Season 2, we probably won't get a whole lot to change that until Star Wars Celebration. At least not official news, because, well, Disney has their marketing strategy, the leaks have their own timelines. So I thought today we'd take a look at some of the rumors regarding upcoming Star Wars projects, and I'll give my honest thoughts. Now, if you're not into leaks or potential spoilers, click away from this video. And I've had a lot of people ask me, why do I read spoilers and leaks? To me, it's honestly part of the fun. It helps build anticipation. Yeah, it's true you don't necessarily go in surprised the first time, but 99% of the times I watch a Star Wars movie, I already know what's going to happen anyway. Knowing the end for Revenge of the Sith doesn't spoil my enjoyment as I watch. So we'll have two main topics in this video. First, we'll discuss the upcoming Mandalorian movie before moving on to Ahsoka Season 2. Most of these leaks come from a variety of what I consider to be good sources, including Christian Harloff and Bespin Bulletin, and we've actually gotten a bit of an outline for the movie, specifically that Jeremy Allen White, yeah, the dude from The Bear, will be playing Rata the Hutt, who apparently is Jack now, probably due to the trauma inflicted by his kidnapping in the Clone Wars. This much was actually confirmed by the major trades, including Deadline. I do find it a bit odd that they found an actor with as much just general appeal as Jeremy and are locking him behind a hut, but whatever. It's certainly funny. The more in-depth aspect of the leak, however, is that once again, Rata the Hutt will be kidnapped and that the Mandalorian and Grogu will be hired to rescue him, opposing another Clone Wars figure, Embo. Now, if this is the general plot for the movie, I'm extraordinarily concerned. Star Wars needs a win. On one hand, I think it's alright that Star Wars has had such a slow year, or really couple of years, before the release of this film and a return to theaters, help build fan anticipation. But after viewership numbers on Disney+, Star Wars really needs a victory, and they need to make sure that the biggest part of their brand, the movies, haven't been diluted in the same way that the TV shows arguably have been. My concern is that while The Mandalorian and Grogu are big, widely appealing draws, I'm not sure if this story, focusing on Embo of all characters, is. It's actually a bit surprising. Like, filming is apparently done on this movie. I'd expect to see more leaks in the however many months until release. Either way, I've got a theory. While it might be another Hutt napping, which starts the Mandalorian and Grogu's adventure in their feature film, I don't think that will be the main conflict. You ever watch The Simpsons? I think they're going to do the thing that The Simpsons does most episodes, or at least many episodes, where there is a conflict which serves no purpose except to get the heroes onto another journey. Usually you call this an Act 1 misdirect, or a plot switch. Basically, the initial story somewhat tenuously leads to a much bigger conflict or adventure. Like, there's the one where Homer has the badger problem and he ends up splitting Springfield in two and becoming the mayor. Or the trampoline episode with Brad Goodman. Honestly, it's most episodes of The Simpsons. So I can see the Mandalorian movie perhaps doing something like that, where the kidnapping is resolved early on, but a much bigger crisis is brought upon the New Republic and the Mandalorian. And I do think we will see New Republic tie-ins here. Sigourney Weaver will apparently be in the show playing a New Republic officer. I don't think they'd get Sigourney Weaver in what is apparently a small role, unless there was going to be more tie-in here. But maybe that's just me being optimistic, because I absolutely love Sigourney Weaver. I don't know. It's possible to me that this is just cope on my end, but I want to believe that Disney would not so badly continue to manage the overall story of The Mandalorian after what was a pretty poor season 3, caused arguably by an also bad addition to Mando's storyline in the Book of Boba Fett. Otherwise, this sounds like the early plot arc for a season or a made-for-streaming movie, which is not what Star Wars needs in a fairly desperate return to the big screen. Alright, the other big project to talk about is Ahsoka Season 2. I'll link to Christian Harloff's channel down below. He's the source of most of these leaks, but he stated first of all that Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor will reappear in Ahsoka Season 2, which to me makes so much sense. I really liked how Hayden was used in Season 1, and having Obi-Wan featured in the same way, either as a full vision or something else makes a lot of sense, particularly if things are going to continue to get strange with the hint at the ones at the end of season 1. I also think a flashback would be totally cool. It worked fairly well, I thought, in Kenobi. There were some issues with budget, if we're being honest, which didn't help things, but even still, we've got to acknowledge these are TV shows. Suspension of disbelief is honestly kind of important. On that note, one of the other rumors which was apparently started then quashed today was about Natalie Portman perhaps being involved in the project. You know, Padme is such an important character. She's really the driver of the entire series. I think it would be great if she were involved, but Star Wars Newsnet has contested the reporting of Christian Harloff, so unless Natalie Portman's people want to get in contact with me, I'll set the record straight. Otherwise, all we can really do is speculate, but she would certainly be welcomed in the project. On that note, there has been speculation that given the presence of the Ones, as I alluded to at the end of season 1, maybe we could see Abeloth featured in season 2, maybe even Natalie Portman could portray the character. First of all, I think people need to move past the idea of Abeloth as an actual character likely to appear in Star Wars canon. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, because it could, but you've got to remember, Abeloth comes strictly from Fate of the Jedi, a relatively unpopular series limited to books in late Star Wars Legends. Now, there could still be a mother-like figure as a part of the Ones, but it's not going to be, in my opinion, Abeloth as she existed in Star Wars Legends as this, like, Lovecraftian demigod who was once mortal. I do think there's an obvious natural intrigue given that the mother character of the Mortis family is missing and completely untouched upon as of yet in Star Wars canon, but I also don't think it's time to reread Fate of the Jedi, at least right yet. On that note, major publications are also reporting that Rory McCann will be casted for the role of Baylan Skoll, replacing Ray Stevenson, who of course passed in 2023. The face isn't the same, but it'll never be. What I think is important is he matches Ray Stevenson's size, his presence. I don't want them to do anything digital, whatever. Like Captain America Brave New World has Harrison Ford replacing William Hurt, just straight up. And that's what happens when you make movies sometimes. I think it's best to just embrace it. I don't think we need to have kayfabe where we're pretending this is all real. Obviously, just my opinion. I will say, I think Ahsoka Season 1 was majorly let down by its ending, and fans are maybe a bit overly critical of it because of that. I thought it did a great job of continuing the story of Star Wars Rebels, of bringing Grand Admiral Thrawn into the mix, and it's one of the most compelling new bits of Star Wars for me personally, at least. So we'll see how it goes, but that's really all I have for today's video. Let me know your thoughts on these leaks, on my takes, and what you'd like to see in these two projects down below. Till next time, I'll see you soon, and may the Force be with you.